Hello everyone, here I am. It is Wednesday. How are you? How has your week been going so far? Mine has been great. We are doing benchmarks right now, so schedules are different, sitting charts are different, and we have one more day. Students have done an amazing job, but they are ready to finish, and I am ready to go back to normal. And that day will be Friday. So Friday will be a double whammy. Good benchmarks are over and the weekend is coming. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes. And remember, if you have friends or family members who are teachers, or even if they're not, recommend the videos to them. It is a pleasure for me to sit every week and spend a few minutes with you, sharing my experiences in the classroom and sometimes outside the classroom. Today's topic is my time in Korea as an English teacher. As an English teacher, with that accent teaching English, yes, there are all sorts of accents around the world. And we have a group of students that went to our institute from 2007 to 2011 that speak a wonderful Spanish accent. Learn courtesy of Renee and Judith. Anyways, in 2007, my wife and I, after talking to our children, who at the time were 12 and 14, and we talked to the rest of the family, decided that we were going to move to Korea. So we sold our house in Orlando and we moved to Korea. Probably it took about a month and a half to 2 months to get all the pieces in place, and we moved. We didn't know exactly how long we were going to stay, but we knew for sure 1 year. We ended up staying 4. Our first day when we arrived in Seoul, big metropolis, buses running everywhere, big buildings, tall, beautiful buildings. Streets were packed, never stopped, and we arrived at our institute in Seoul where we were going to be trained. And then the next day we had to go to Hong Kong for few hours because there was some problems with the visa, but we finally got everything ready and we finished our training, and we moved to a city called Chuncheon. It had about 350,000 people. It was in the middle of the mountains, a lot like Chattanooga. Right, it was a valley right in the mountains, about 30 miles from the border of South Korea and North Korea. There we worked at an institute, a language institute. We taught university age students and we taught elementary age students. We didn't have to prepare the curriculum at first because everything had been done by the company who ran the institute. Later on, as I stayed there longer, then I developed some classes specifically aimed at groups that wanted to learn either business English or traveling English or different things that were aimed at specific populations. But anyways, my wife and I were teachers there, and our children were being homeschooled. Teachers in Korea are respected quite a bit. I don't know, I never really went into a classroom where there was a Korean teacher, so I don't know if the same respect is given to the Korean teacher as it is given to the Western teacher. But from what I could see, teachers are very well respected and admired in Korea, as maybe a doctor would or a lawyer would. I might be exaggerating, but anyways, there was no problem managing a classroom there. That was not the issue at all. So our schedule was, in the mornings we would teach students before they went to the university that wanted to learn English. In the afternoons we taught elementary students that had finished their school, and then at night we taught again university students that had finished their day of classes or that might have been going into classes then. The whole world really wants to learn English because they want to communicate around, and it's the language that is the easiest to communicate in almost every country. I want to specifically concentrate for just a couple of minutes on something that I noticed. A lot of Korean students are used to what they take a lot of tests in Korea. So there is a lot of memorization taking place. A lot of the schools, uh, it's very teacher centered, where the teacher imparts the information, the students take it and learn it. Okay, there is, from what I could see, there was not a lot of reasoning going on. They just take it, they memorize it, and then they are able to take any test. Okay, so my biggest challenge was getting students to talk, getting students to discuss ideas, getting students to debate a topic, especially since I was teaching them English. I didn't want them just to learn grammar or how to write in English. I wanted them to be able to speak. I wanted for them to be able to talk and express themselves, express their thoughts in English. So I know that a lot of people criticize American schools, but one thing that I had learned in American universities and when I was a teacher in the United States was that it was a student-centered place where the teacher was a facilitator and students basically guided instruction. You know, there were a lot of discussions taking place in my classrooms in Florida. There were a lot of debates. There were a lot of expressing ideas, and also there was a lot of explaining what you're thinking. You know, justify your thinking. But a lot of that was not happening in Korea, and it's not a criticism. You know, that it works very well for them, but it really it made me truly appreciate the value of a student centered classroom. And when, well, later on after Korea we went to the Middle East, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but or on another day, not today. But it really not only not only did I appreciate a student centered classroom, but it reaffirmed my my practice that when I came back to the US, I wanted to have that type of classroom again, where students were guiding the instruction and I was just a facilitator. And it's much easier said than done, but it is very possible. And there is a lot of value in a classroom that is student centered. I don't know if you already have one like that or if you are working towards that, but for me, there is no other way. Yes, there are things that have to be memorized. There are things that the teacher have to explain. But in general, for most occasions, the classroom needs to be student centered. So we spent 4 years in Korea. Our children left and we stayed there. They went to the university in the United States, or they came to the United States, and we stayed over there. We made wonderful friends. We learned to eat spicy and delicious Korean food. Now is the happiest times. The happiest time of our lives is when we sit down to eat Korean food. And we just became part of a culture. We really got to understand what Korean culture was about, and there is a beauty in understanding other cultures as well. So remember, student-centered classroom. There is a lot of value in that. Let's work towards that. Thank you for watching the video today. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments. And I hope to see you next Wednesday. 안녕하세요.